All right, so at this point, we've been able to allow ourselves the means by which to change the data that is depicted in the visual. We have seen how we can kind of fix the color scheme of any individual state by coloring the state label, as I have just done with Georgia. Again, just to have it pop out if I needed to do so. But what about other forms of interactivity? I showed how removing that kind of upper pane of glass allows me to access individual objects, modify their appearance by, say, adding a bevel, or you know what, at this point, let me just go ahead and remove that. Home, shape formats. The cursor, as you'll notice, when I hover it above any one of these objects, is going to change from a standard kind of interactive spreadsheet cursor to a pointer. What does that mean? Well, it means that these individual objects have some kind of a macro assigned to them that will be launched when I click. What is that macro at this point? Let's take a look. Right now, there's a default macro that allows you to do some group-wise comparisons that are statistical, that allow you to take the numbers that are, for example, 2015 per capita incomes and create a set of states that you can compare to another set of states. Let's give that a shot. This is just an example of interactivity with this kind of a object set. Right now, it says that we have the subset manager modal or pop-up that's being shown to us. The focal shape that I clicked on was Mississippi, so MS. The focal subset membership, I'm going to specify one. I'm going to say I want the southeastern states, for example. So I'm going to say southeast is a set of states. I'm going to give them a additional color attribute, and I'm going to make a selection of others in that state set, showing just kind of the green border around them. So select others in subset, and those would be things like I suppose Alabama, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia would be part of the set, even though its fill has been forced to be orange here. And maybe that's enough. All right. Now, what do I know about that? Well, according to this modal, there are 5 elements in that set. Their average per capita is 39,420. There's a standard deviation. I can look at the minimum and maximum values in that set. There's some range there. Okay, that's great. That's maybe a start. I'm going to close this modal now, and I'm going to say, hey, I wonder, I probably would bet that there's a difference between the per capita income of the southeastern states and some other states in the U.S., probably because of population density, the predominance of urban centers, things like that. So I'll create another set, maybe of northeast states. Call that northeast. Give them a slightly different, say, purple aspect to their surrounding. I will select some other states in that northeast set: New York, Massachusetts. Suppose I could include DC in this, New Jersey, New York. So I've picked 5 states there. I haven't gone too far into the New England states up there. But this is, again, a set of 5. They have a different per capita average, different standard deviation, different minimum and maximum values. That's great. Now, can I compare these 2 sets that I've selected? Absolutely. I go to the subset comparison and I say I want to compare this set of Northeast states to the Southeast states. Well, the comparison set, the Southeast states, they also have 5 states within them. They have a different average per capita, different standard deviation. And furthermore, if I was to do a very low sample t-test comparing these 2 sets of states, and I kind of knew what the result was going to be in advance, the p level is extremely low. That is, they are, even though these are very small samples, they're significantly different in terms of their per capita. Now, I could If I had a much larger number of objects that I was comparing, I could make those comparisons. If I wanted to create yet another set of things to compare, another state set, for example, in the Northwest, I could do that as well. Let's just do that. I can keep on going here, Northwest, and let's go ahead and give them a different aspect. Select other Northwest states in the set here, Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon. And again, I don't have to just do five. I'll see their grouping of eight, their descriptive statistics, and it too can be compared to things like the Southeast states. The statistical difference is not quite as big as between Northeast and South East. The comparison of uh, the Northwest to the Northeast also different. So they're also less a lower per capita than the 63, which is fairly high in the Northeast, but again, not quite as different as the Northeast and the North and the Southeast. So again, these kinds of comparisons can be made using the default interactive functionality. But you're not always going to want to be comparing subsets statistically. Sometimes you want other things to happen when you click on the objects in your sets. We're going to talk about that next.